Hey, hope you're doing good. So, beginning of this year, I actually spent a few weeks in London, right? I spent enough money to buy a home there, but which wasn't really good for me. But one thing that was cool that I did is that I actually hosted a mastermind, right? I hosted a mastermind going over the origin story of the appointment setting agency as well as clientacquisition.io, right? If you don't know me, I run clientacquisition.io, a consulting business that helps other service businesses scale. So agency owners, coaches, and consultants, we just help remove them from their client acquisition and build the systems and the team to actually manage their growth, okay? I shared everything, how I started the appointment setting and went from 0 to 30K per month in less than 4 months, and how I took clientacquisition.io from literally 0 to over $108,000 per month in less than 5 months, okay? So if you want to learn more on how I did it, then please find it helpful. I'm really going to go over some really cool stuff, okay? Hopefully you'll be able to enjoy. But one thing that I also wanted to remind you is that I'm doing a giveaway, okay? So all you have to do to potentially get access to our program that costs a lot of money, okay, for free, is go on my Instagram page, follow me. You can just find a post here. I can actually throw it in here. All you have to do is just comment, tag 2 of your friends who are also running online service businesses, and follow the business page, right? Next week, Friday, I'll actually be picking the winner. So yeah, I'm looking to give away some of I think it's probably the best mechanism, the best solution that's currently out in the market, okay? I'm not the most famous person in this game, but I think I've probably built the best solution that exists right now, okay? So find it helpful. Enjoy. Bye-bye. A lot of you, like I said, I started with an appointment setting agency, right? But I got to a point where I was working like a slave, I had like 20 customers, I had 10 employees, and I had to manage them a lot. And I got to 30K a month, but I realized that oh my God, how do I actually scale this model? Because it was so much amount of work, right? So I looked at other people. I looked at, who are the people that are making 300 grand a month? Who are the people making $1 million a month, right? And this is something that you guys, have to really keep in mind, is that you have to look at who's actually winning, and you have to figure out a way to do what they're doing instead of trying to just get taught something else. Like for me, if I go and buy a course, I'm not necessarily buying a course to just learn what's inside. Yes, if that's the skill set that I need, I'll do that. But most of the time, I'll actually just want to look at how the back end is structured. What is the guy doing, right? And if you look at guys like Alex Hormozy, if you look at guys like Sam Ovens, if you look at all these big guys, they started up with a done-for-you service, and then they ended up transitioning to more of a productized service, right? And that's my story, essentially. It started the same way. When was it? In May, that's when I really started to feel like, okay, I should transition, right? And in this presentation, I want to go over the steps. What I'd like to do is, I'm not, the way that I wanted to do this presentation, I want it to be a bit more organic. So I'll just go over each step. If you guys have any questions, please, you're welcome to ask me. We might go a bit over, till maybe over noon. So I might just keep, going over even till break. So check this out. So step 1 is you need to narrow your focus to solving one problem, right? A lot of people, they make the mistake that they think that more is better, right? But that's not actually true, because if you do more stuff, so let's say someone who's offering paid ads as a service, right? Paid ads itself is actually a lot of work, because you have to think about the copy, you have to understand funnels, you have to understand the audience, you have to understand attribution, you have to figure out all these metrics out, right? But if you're looking to go to more of a productized way of doing things, for me, what I noticed was the best way. So actually just pick a problem within the journey of the customer, right? So, Loving Vibes. I hope he's watching this. Because we're coming for him. Okay, check this out. So when you're helping someone, right? So let's say it's a brand, or it's, I'm thinking where's the best. So when you're helping someone, so maybe it's a brand, right? And the brand is here, and they're making let's say 20K a month, right? And they're like, hey, how can we get to 100K a month? So there is this transition that is here, right? But what a lot of people don't understand is that in order to go from here to here, you have to do a bunch of things. You have to find the message. Like, how do you actually sell their product? You have to understand, figure out like the messaging. You have to figure out the channels to advertise on, right? So it could be Facebook, it could be TikTok, it could be YouTube, right? But you also have to figure out a way to convert this attention, right? So the actual, maybe it's a video, maybe it's a funnel, right? So all these things have to be put in place in order for them to go here to here, right? But if you're looking to productize your service, to build like a program, you can't be, well, you could pick all this stuff. You could teach them how to write good copy. You could teach them how to build funnels. You could, show them all these ad strategies. But guess what? Then you're going to be competing with everyone in this room, right? Because he's selling paid ads, you're selling paid ads, he's selling paid ads. So how do you separate yourself from everyone else? Then the only way to do it is, what if you just picked messaging as your expertise, right? And you just say that, hey, my goal is to help brands or lawyers or car dealerships build the best messaging to sell their services, right? So now you can really go really deep and narrow. And when someone is saying, oh, we help brands scale to 6 figures per month using paid ads, well, but the brand actually only needs to improve their copy. They're already running the ads, they already have good funnels, but the thing that they're missing is just a converting argument, an actual sales argument. Well, the best way to do it is you just focus on this and you just pick it. So now it's like, hey, we specialize in helping brands who are struggling with market resonance or message market resonance, solve it, and to get to 100K per month, right? So for us, what we did is we picked client acquisition, right? And our focus was, how can we book more meetings by leveraging virtual assistants and by improving your offer, right? But by delegating it. So we lock in on that. While everybody is just selling courses, we're just saying, hey, you're struggling with acquisition, come to us, we'll improve your offer, and we'll also build a team to help you with acquisition, right? So now, we have people like Iman, you have people like Kai Bax, but I'm able to go and take a good chunk of the market because our message is so narrow to a specific problem, right? So it just makes it easier to sell, right? So yeah, if I was like a marketing agency selling paid ads and I wanted to do this transition, I would do something a bit different. I would just come in and be like, what is something that,
like copywriting or
it could
content
be, it could be content, it could be, I'm trying to figure out what is
one. So for a lot of lead generation, because a lot of you guys, when you're doing Facebook ads, you're going to be doing lead gen. For example, if it's a real estate or car dealership, a lot of the times the reason why they don't convert these leads is because of the follow-up. It's because of the actual, what happens when the lead comes through to then actually converting that lead into a sale. So your whole service could be exactly that. Exactly, how do we go ahead and help you convert these leads? And then perhaps you could upsell the actual done for you where you run the ads as well, etc.
So check this out. So if I was, and I keep telling this to a lot of our customers, if I was like an ads agency, right? And I'm like, I'm tired of this monthly service. I'm tired of getting customers leave. I'm tired of having to always, churn and, be dying, right? Stressing out. I would be like, you know what? What if my specialty, what if I built a program that just solved this iOS 14 issue? One thing's for sure, a lot of people are hurting because of iOS 14. Yeah. So what if you built, you don't even have to build anything. There are some softwares out there solving this issue, and your expertise is, we specialize brands who have lost profit, who have lost the ability to make data-driven decision because of iOS 14, solve it, right? And then all you have to do is put it at $5,000, okay? And then just go and literally blanket to the whole market that you do it, get people on calls, sell it for $5,000, solve it, and you just repeat the process. And you have probably like millions of brands who are actually looking to get this solved. You're not selling them paid ads, you're not selling them a whole bunch of stuff that everybody else is selling. Mm-hmm. You just really narrow with one single mechanism,
it's like
right?
A niche within a niche.
Exactly. It's like a niche even with the offer, right? So a lot of people niche down with with like, oh, let's go help brands, or like let's help recurring businesses. No, how about you also niche down with your mechanism that you use to sell people, right? So for you, like you're coaching people fitness. What if instead of saying like you help people lose weight, what if you went deep and said, we help people, I'm trying to think of like something that you could pick. But like, let's say it's just a diet thing, right? So I help people who are already trying to lose weight, but having an issue with diet, solve it with this new insight based on diet. So now you go after everyone who's tried losing weight but can't because of food, and you just sell that as a package. And the fact that it's really specific actually makes it high ticket, right? Because what is it worth someone who's lost the ability to keep making 100 grand a month because of iOS, because they can't find the right ad angle, or they don't really know where the traffic is coming from that is converting.
I was thinking
This is-
sorry.
go ahead.
I was going to say, coming off what you said, I was thinking of actually sub-niching into my audience as well. So again, like you said, instead of just aiming at everyone and anyone, focusing on, for example, agency owners who are obviously focusing on their business, they've got no time for gym. So a lot of agency owners are into like biohacking, such prioritizing their sleep, prioritizing their health. So I think if let's just say, for example, if I was to instead go from Instagram followers who just want to get fit and buff and whatnot, have a six pack and do whatever, then go into specifying it into agency owners who don't have time to go gym, and then that could also in turn increase my ticket. So instead of going from someone who pays 200 a month, someone who's now got the funds to actually pay 4 digits per month. So I think that would be a move for me now.
Yeah, you could even say, hey, I specialize in helping 7-figure entrepreneurs who are who don't have time to figure out their fitness, their performance, solve it and get to 8 figures, right? So now, I'd buy it too, you know? I'm like,
but I think absolutely, sub-niche down. And when you were talking about that, by the way, I genuinely only know people who do biohacking in like this whole industry for entrepreneurs. I don't know a single like PT, like an online PT specifically for working out. So yeah, that's definitely an amazing niche to go down.
Yeah, you have to go narrow, because
the looking to set up is Billy Harris.
I spoke to him. I had a meeting with him.
See what's on.
I just wanted to say, so for example, I've got a client in London, and it's a luxury fashion brand, and we're currently doing a few things for them. We're doing social media management, content creation, influencer marketing, and we've just added email marketing as well. So it's like, I mean, it's good. We've been with them from almost a year and a half and stuff. However, it's quite a lot. So you bring in another 2 or 3 clients, but then it's like, it's like you become an in-house kind of thing. So I'm understanding that I need to narrow it down to one thing that we can help with, and so I'm thinking about that as well.
Yeah, because you know it's we have this, and it's intuitive to think that more is more, right? The more I do for you, the more money I can make from you. But the truth is, the more I do for you, the less I can do for more people. So it brings in complexity, right? Like to do 100K per month with the appointment setting that we did in back in January to like maybe May. Oh my God, I wouldn't be sleeping. Right? But right now, you know, my team is less than 6 people, right? I mean, we did this, and you know, I have 1 sales rep, 1 appointment setter, 1 back-end person, 1 support person. So, you know, traditional companies, in order to do 100K, I had this customer who was like, came to me and was like, oh, we just hit like 87K per month. They just hit their 7-figure run rate. I was like, how big is your team? He was like 27. I was like, what? Jesus.
That's crazy.
Just change. Come get a job at this point, right? Because this is why this business model is so fucking good, right? You're doing these numbers and then you only have 5 people, so that means that you know you could make millions in like 6 months.
Quite good.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't reinvest, you're good. But yeah, so. Now the next thing is make your offer as high ticket as possible, right? If you guys don't have high ticket offers, like you guys will be broke for a long time, right? So I wanted to just walk you through, guys, like how to increase it, right? So the truth is, and you know, a lot of you guys who are going through Alex Hormozi's book, you guys know about this. But the truth is, you can only decrease the price to 0, right? But you can bring this thing up to infinity. right? So, but a lot of people, what we do is when we're trying to sell people, we're like, oh, it's a price issue. Okay, cool. I'll give you a $500 discount, right? Or I'll do cheaper than the other guy. But that's not really it. Because if you do that, then what ends up happening is that you're reducing the price here, okay? And the value also has to decrease. Because there's no way you're going to charge someone $500 and you're going to make them $1 million. It doesn't happen, right? So since you're forced to deliver a little amount of value, then this will come here, right? And if the discrepancy between value and price isn't large enough, every month people will be like, you know, why am I paying for this invoice, man? Like, hey Serge, like, you know, can we speak? I don't want to keep working with you, right? So, but instead, what you do is ask yourself, how can I increase the value? So for me, like what I did for our program is, how can I make it unreasonable for my customers not to achieve what I'm promising them, right? So we started out first with just teaching them how we do outreach and then placing a VA, right? But then we were like, okay, but if they don't have the right offer, then they're not going to get meetings. So we solved the offer issue. And then we got to a point where, yes, we had the VA, we had the offer, we had the looms being done, but customers weren't making looms to actually book the meetings. So I was like, okay, now here's another problem. Because if they're not consistently making looms, then they're not going to get the meetings that they actually want to be able to sell. So what I did is I created a program to train people who want to make looms for our customers. So now I'll put it in, right? So now our customers get in our program, they get the VA, they get the offer, they get someone to make the looms for them on commission. So they're not even paying them. So you could come in, you could be broke, and you'll get the whole thing set up for you, right?
You're solving all their problems.
Exactly. And guess what? That's why I can. The value is so high that I'm gonna charge most amount of money in this space.
And it's gonna
right?
be an ROI for them.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's just ridiculously good.
We
So
can't charge a lot for like social media management because the value in itself.
yeah, it's like they're like, oh, but why would I go with you?
Yeah.
There's this guy in Philippines charging me $250 a month, you know. But for me, if someone comes to me and they're like, oh, but why are you charging 10 grand? Well, because you don't have to do shit, bro.
All the problems we solve. Yeah.
You just come in and it's like a train, you just like, it gets done, right?
It's more of a time thing as well, because that's for all of us, that's what we need the most.
Exactly,
time.
right?
Money will come and go, but I think that's the main point.
Yeah.
The time that you're saving them.
Yeah, exactly. So, one of the things that Alex Hormozy did in the fitness space is that he literally, he presented this video, but most coaches will probably just give you a workout schedule, maybe a diet to follow, but one of the issues that he saw with his clients is that when they went out, they couldn't keep to their diet. So what he did is he made up a menu to order when you go out. He made a grocery list and also how to cook it, right?
So
that's when you
really making it as easy for them as possible.
Exactly. Well, to be honest, for me, for our program, I'd love to fucking have a clientele of brands and clients to just give you a client. That would be infinitely valuable, right? But it's hard to do it, So, most people try to steer away from value because they're like, oh, but I don't want to give so much. But the truth is, if you don't give so much, this will be near the price. So I'm paying you $2 grand, but I'm, getting like $3 grand of value. So it's not really that highly converting. So people always question your price, right?
Yeah.
But we have customers who will come in and they'll pay us like $8 grand, and just because we just ask them because when customers come in, we keep them accountable for every single day. For the first 2 weeks, we message them every single day, right? And if they need support, we're just always at it for them. So they could literally just come in and never get results, but they'll still be grateful for the experience, right? And that's what you want to do.
What it does as well is no one can really compete with you in that sense, since you're solving all these issues.
Yeah.
Really compete with
So
you.
yeah, because we're lazy, right? So for me, if I didn't think long term, I'd love to just sell VAs, right? But long term play is just over deliver, right? So if it's iOS tracking issues, then don't just solve the metrics. What you should do is build a team maybe to actually solve this issue for long term. So because now when you get inside a company, when you work with a brand, you end up realizing like, oh my God, their marketing team is shit. Their social media management is shit, the content. So now you can build a product around solving all these issues inside that keep them from transitioning to here, right?
So quick question, Laura. So you're saying it's better to build info products. So for example, I'm only offering paid ads and landing pages, but landing pages, it's that self-service. I need to pay someone else, So it's extra. It's less profit for me.
Yeah.
So would you say that maybe building an info product, like, I don't know, here's how you, maybe a template for landing pages, for example, and just like a copy and paste, drag and drop template, or templates for creative, like, structures or whatever, just like info products rather than paying someone else and adding it as an extra service so that you don't lose your profit?
No, I would suggest that you build an info product, but you also have someone to actually do it for them. Because nobody wants to. You gotta bring it to done for you as much as possible, but you still gotta have a way to scale it.
Yeah, that's the thing. How are you gonna scale?
With what service though? With like what kind?
For example, landing pages.
Okay, cool. Then you just build a team that does it for people, or check this out. You don't necessarily do it for people, but you do this. You build the product, the info product, so you build information, but you also show them how to hire their own contractors who will do the work.
Given the game that you use.
Yeah.
Given
So it's like so you see, because you're gonna have scaling issues if you have to hire contractors to serve 100 customers, right? But like, okay, then how you don't also go to just I'll sell you information. You go in between, which is how about I show you where to find the VAs, the contractors who will do it for you, and guess what? I'll also train the contractors to build. Maybe you build an info product for the contractors to implement it for your customers.
This is crazy.
So for example, I've already got a lot of drag and drops templates, So you give them the template.
I wouldn't even give them the template. I would just teach them, hey, this is how the game will go, but everything else will be done by someone else. So I'll build a community of people who build landing pages. I will train them on the product, and then I will go close customers, and I will just train these contractors, give them the tools. I would give them the templates. Hey, just implement it for my customers, right? So it's more like done. It's like done. Do it yourself, but you're really going to done for you, really, as much as possible. So it's done with you, but really with a high component of like done for you.
Jack, had a question?
Yeah, got a question. So it's like products always in your knowledge and selling that to them on a high ticket and then telling them like what to do step by step.
Yeah.
And you're giving them like, you already know how to do the service, but you're selling that for a high ticket so they can do it themselves and you can hire VAs and stuff like that basically.
So so you're selling them information, but information itself is not enough. So you actually have to also include some done for you services. So you have to, let's say if you're helping, let's say brands get, you're helping them with paid ads. If I wanted to go and if I was an e-commerce agency and wanted to transition that I've done, but still want to keep the paid ads as a main offer, then I would build a team of media buyers. I would go sign brands. I would place them within their company, and I would train these media buyers on how to really run ads for a customer. So it's not just, this is how your media buyer could do it, right? So I'm still building something that I do the work for them, right? But the most amazing things about high ticket price is this. There's a flywheel, which is, if I'm making 10 grand, that means I'm crazy profitable, right? And that means that, and the also issue with charging like 10 grand is that the people paying 10 grand are people who actually care about their goals. And people actually are really committed. So they're less bitchy, And then that means that if I get high committed customers, well, guess what? I get more revenue in the back end, which means that I can hire better talent. If I hire better talent, well, that means that my customers get better results. Which means that if I get better results, then I can charge even more high ticket. And if I charge more high ticket, then I get higher quality customers who are committed to implementing the stuff that we do. But even if they're not committed, I'll hire someone to make sure they're committed, right? Because I got capital now. And then this is just, you just go crazy right now.
It's like you're kind of you can charge it ethically, knowing that you're also improving the product as you go on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because one of the main problems if you're charging so high, you want to make sure the product is as good as possible.
Yeah.
So in doing so, it's just continuously just like.
Yeah, you know, the truth is when I started out, I wasn't offering everything that I was doing.
Yeah.
But because you know you're charging a high ticket, you know, 8 grand, 10 grand. It's like, you know, people think about it a few times. So you really got to figure out like, oh man, I need to figure a way to make this thing unreasonable. Like, because and that to be honest, I increased it before improving the product. So the actual hike, the fact that I increased it forced me to be like, yo, you can't be like everyone else.
Yeah.
So you need to figure out a way to make your offer better. So you increase it. A lot of people think that, oh, but what should I do before I increase it? No, the way is you increase it first, and this forces you to create a better product, a better
I
service.
think what would help with that as well when you're trying to improve your service is that don't look at how I can improve my service, just look straight at their problem.
Yeah.
So just the second that you find a problem, just think in their shoes, like what are they going to bump into, and then how possibly can you solve it. But there's also a balance between not trying to do everything on the fucking, you know, don't take over their business and be like, yeah, I'll solve everything for you.
Yeah, I feel.
But
just fix the main biggest bottlenecks that's stopping them from scaling to the next level. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I did was like literally like make like a list of things like what could keep my customers from adding an extra 50K per month. Well, the market has become numb to their messages. Nobody's wanting to hear about them. The customer can deliver once they get the customers. The competition increases. My lack of skill set, knowledge in different facets. So I just hired other consultants to consult my customers, because let's say I don't want to consult on media buying, so I just get someone who's spent a lot of money on Facebook ad, but they're not disciplined enough. They don't have an in-depth knowledge about the person they're looking to sell to. They don't know how to find the people that actually want to buy their service. They start charging really low ticket prices. So I built a list of everything that could keep them from not actually seeing success, and I just build products. I just throw shit at the wall until I figure out a way to solve it. And that it just helps me charge whatever amount I want.
At which point do you transition from down for it to down Flywheel?
I personally think you should do it after you, because the way I did it is because I saw a need that exceeded my current vehicle, right? So if you're currently like TikTok, right? Like TikTok is definitely bumping right now, like it's going crazy. So if I were you and I'm like signing like a customer every week, I'd start thinking about, okay, well, you know, I'm not gonna wait till I'm, you know, till I'm like 30 to go really big. So for me personally, I want to see if there is a really market that needs a solution, then I could start working on it, because you know times change and you don't know how long the gold rush is gonna last. So you better collect that dough really fast. Yeah. So it's not, there's no, I know a lot of people are like, oh, but you're teaching something you haven't done, but it's like, so what? The whole point is not to be, because you know there's this, the whole point is you want to be free, you want to see success. Whatever it takes to get there, you do it. Because you know when you're going and buying someone a home, let's say you're going to buy your mom's a penthouse, she's not going to ask, oh, but you taught people before you did it. She's going to be like, amazing. Go do it more, a little bit more. So you guys have to stop like overthinking stuff. This is about you survival, guys. You know, it's achieving your dreams. So whatever it takes to achieve your dreams, you better do it.
Or even on that note as well, if you haven't got quite the experience and you feel like, okay, how can I teach them when I haven't quite done it myself? You can always offer like the two offers I said earlier, like either just a free trial or let me consult you on this. Then once it's all working and we help you get an extra 2 free clients next month, that's when you can pay for our consulting fee, which is 5,000.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There's no loss in that, but it's definitely a confidence thing. Yeah. And one more thing I was just going to say, you're talking about when it's higher ticket, you get better like clients. Oh my God. Both the education business and AdSense, like the marketing agency. I don't know if you guys have seen that photo. It's very, very simple, but basically there's 2 sentences. One of them is a $500 client, and and he's saying like, oh, you know, I really want you to do this, like, right. 50K client is like invoice paid. Literally. And genuinely, like you guys will experience that. The higher ticket clients, to them, obviously that means that they can afford that. So therefore, 5,000 probably isn't too much, you know, of an issue for them, and they will actually appreciate it a lot more. When somebody invests money, this is why people don't appreciate free shit. For example, right, if this whole thing was completely free, sure, you guys might come and take notes and actually go ahead and, you know, maybe implement one or two things. But the fact that you guys have invested money, therefore you're going to make sure you listen what we're talking about and you're actually going to implement it. The same as for your clients. If you just give them a free trial, sure, they'll get results, they might not even appreciate it, but if they pay you, they're going to go out of their way to, but hey, is there anything I can help you with? Do you want me to record some content, or what about this offer?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, man.
100%. Yeah, fuck free stuff. Yeah. So the next thing is, so now you guys have one single problem. You have one good high ticket offer. I suggest charging anywhere from 5K to you know, whatever you want to charge. There is no cap to that one. But then the next thing is, like, you can't be going the traditional route of acquiring customers, right? You need to figure out a way to look at, you know, you guys have probably are seeing this online, right? We have influencers who are making millions from doing nothing, from just being themselves, right? So, you know, you could either be you could either just ignore reality and just go the hard route. But for me, one thing that I realize is that if you want to make 7, 8, 9 figures, you need an audience. There is no way you do traditionally, like you go spamming people in email. Like that, you'll die before you get rich, right? So what I did is gotten an audience. And I did it by accident, to be honest, right? I'll walk you through the story. But when I started this appointment setting agency, so even before, right? I was part of it. I bought access to Agency Incubator by Iman, right? And when I started, the reason why I went from like my first 10K a month to 30K a month and then this success so fast is because I had 3,000 people who could buy my service. I didn't have to go scrape their emails. I didn't have to go do Instagram outreach. I didn't have to do all this work. I had them in one single spot, right? So the truth is, if you guys want to make, I don't care who you're selling to, whether it brands, whether it be car dealership, whether it be anything, all you have to do is just find an audience of them. And for us, we leverage a lot of Facebook groups, right? So I'll just go really quick. So you could do something like this. The first process is you could go in Facebook groups, look up keywords for your niche, and then just go on groups. What I want you to do is you could go start with free groups, to be honest, but I really like paid groups, me personally. Why? Because if someone bought into Agency Incubator or if someone bought into Market Sales Program, then that means that they've already made the commitment to see success. So now what you do is, if you're selling to lawyers, well, find lawyers who have paid to learn about Facebook ad, right? So find an influencer who's teaching lawyers how to run Facebook ad. Why do you want to do that? Because they're already sold onto the idea of scaling online, and they're also sold on the fact that they need a website, because you can't run Facebook ad to the void, right? So now you literally get a free win. So for me, what I did is I'll show you guys the numbers, right? How to find paid groups and why paid Facebook group is so powerful. It's because, you know, you have more intent, you have more quality leads, prospects in that group. They've already spent their hard-earned money to join, and the expert influencer has paid thousands and hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars in sources of traffic to gather all these people in that group. So imagine Iman, Sam Ovens, Alex Hormozy. Imagine all the ad spend that they've spent to actually get you guys sold on a course. Well, for me, I don't have to go spend that much money. I just buy his product, get access to the same people he got by spending 500K, right? So that's how you guys think, okay? So you need to find an influencer who's already selling to your audience, and they've already spent the millions. So all you have to do is just get their attention and bring it back to your Facebook. So imagine this. Let's say you have a course, a digital product that has been sold to attorneys, right? And let's say it costs you $1,000, and let's say there are 3,000 people in there. That means that the cost per lead is 33 cents, right? Side note, please find me any other outreach or paid ad strategy that will get you high intent leads at 33 cents a pop. It's impossible,
It's
right?
insane when you break it down like that.
Right? And And then check this out. And if your average price of your done for you or consulting is 2.5K, then the scenario could be something like this. Let's say out of 3,000 members, 1,000, which is 33% of them, are struggling in succeeding to achieve their desired outcome. Because check this out. People who got into the agency course by Iman want to get to 10K a month, right? There are 3,000 people here. Does not mean that 3,000 people are actually going to get here. Never. Probably 5% actually do get there. But that means that 95% of everyone that's left is struggling. Here I put 33%, but it's pretty much like 100% probably. But check this out. Now, all I have to do is, or all you would have to do is, you start a conversation with 500 people in that group, and you end up converting 5% of them on a discovery call. That's 225 discovery calls in 30 days. 50% aren't qualified, so you have 12 potential customers. Your closing ratio is really bad, so you close at 20%, which means that out of 12 sales calls, 3 clients. 3 clients at 2K or 2.5K, that's 6 grand or 7.5K, I think. You paid 1K to access this group, you made a return of 600%, and you still have access to 975 prospects.
Numbers game.
Right? So for me, that's what I did. I bought access to a course. I got someone to pay 9 grand for our program, and I bought the course for $600. And I still have 600 members to go talk to.
The numbers make sense, right?
Yeah.
The same with paid ads as well. Like you can break it down to the fundamentals. When you're starting out, sure, with paid ads it's a little more difficult, but with this, you can clearly see how many members there are before you even join this.
So yeah, this is just ridiculous, guys. Like, if you are selling to a big market, car dealerships, attorneys, online businesses, coaches, brands, there's already a bigger fish who's selling them a product. That's for sure. All you have to do is, does that product come with an audience? That's all you need to make sure that it does. And every time you ask yourself, hey, is it worth buying it? Is it not worth buying it? Trust me, it's always worth buying it. As long as there are people in that thing. People are worth more than the money that you would save by not getting it, right? So this insight is just ridiculous, right? And I personally know that if I ever go broke, I'm gonna buy someone else's group. So that's really it. Profile optimization. So this is like you could have a headline, right? Something like this, a banner, content. Content is ridiculously important. I'll go over that later. But yeah, this audience thing is just the best,
Quick
right?
Serge, you know when you go into the audiences,
Yeah.
when it comes to like reaching out and actually posting content, and what kind of structure do you have for that?
I'll go over our messaging structure shortly. But you don't want to because you might get kicked out, right? I pay for courses sometimes and I get kicked out, so I lose money. But you have to. What I suggest doing is to actually focus on adding people to your friend list before you try to prospect it. So balance it. You don't always just want to go straight pitching. Because if you do, then they're gonna just snitch, and then you're gonna lose access to the group. Right? A lot of snitches out here. But okay, now I think this will be helpful to a lot of you guys, especially when it comes to outreach. So let me just check this out. So there is a certain art around outreaching, right? And this is going to be a bit more on a personal side of things. It's not really, and by personal I don't mean personal, but it's anyway, I'll just break it down, right? And I think it's just good for me to share this with you guys because this will be pretty important. The first thing that you need to know when you're doing outreach online is where do you actually find people, right? Just like in real estate, location or being able to locate the prospect is the most important thing. There is no point in trying to target or launch an outbound prospecting campaign on a channel where you spend 80% of your time trying to locate the ideal prospect. So for me, if a client comes to us, I'm not going to go to emails because I know emails takes a little bit of time to collect the leads, to do all this. So for me, I'll just be okay, what channels can I find people by just opening the app, right? So things like Instagram, Facebook. If you have access to an audience, then you're good. Qualification, right? When you find a prospect, ask yourself, does their profile even make sense, right? So, and this, by the way, I created this training for our growth team, right? So this will be a bit different. But if you go on someone's profile, and let's say you're targeting attorneys, but they don't mention anything about the fact that they're attorneys, then you should probably not try to just skip them. So you just need to quickly take a glance at their profile. Do they live in like first world countries? Do they feel, are they really committed in their business? Do they post content, right? So that's like a first qualification process. And then what you need to do is you need to engage at scale and generate responses, okay? So a lot of the people will be like, oh, let me personalize everything like crazy. But the truth is, you can't afford to be too personalized at first, right? Because it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of energy. So for us, what we do is we try to focus on volume, right? We understand the importance of volume, so we focus on doing enough volume in a single day to make it unreasonable for us not to get 10 to 20% or more of people we contacted to respond. So I don't focus too much on like, oh my God, nobody's answering. No, I focus on doing so much outreach that someone will respond, right? So that's really something that you guys have to focus on. Don't worry if no one is messaging. Don't worry if no one is converting. Just make sure you do volume, right? If anyone has ever done door-to-door, it's really the most dumb thing. I mean, it's not dumb, but it's like you're going and knocking on people's doors. But I know people who would make like 20, 30K per month selling like $10,000 like a product like ACs, ventilation and stuff, right? But do you imagine like how the probability of success is so low selling something door to door? Like you literally have to knock on a door and hope that someone will eventually let you in their house and buy from you. But if you knock on 200 doors a day, you're gonna sell something. Maybe not today, but tomorrow you will, right? So I learned that, when volume is so important, and if you've been in sales, then you understand it. So for us, anyone who's on our growth team, you need to do 100 contacts per day. Like you need to reach out to 100 people a day, right? You need to make it like a religion, right? And you need to make it fun, right? It's more like, you become a shark when you do this kind of numbers every single day. If you're not getting 5 to 10 people responding and conversing with you every day, how can you expect them to get a meeting, right? So your first focus when it comes to outreach is not to book meetings. You want responses. That's the only thing you need to focus on, right? A lot of people try to focus on like, oh, but how will I close them? No. Did they even respond to your first message? So keep the main thing. Okay, now this part is really important, but if you want someone to pay attention to you and trust you enough to understand that you can actually help their business, you need to make sure that they're in the right state of mind, right? A lot of people don't understand this, and that's why they can't make their outreach work even if their lives were on the line, okay? So there are 3 levels of the brain, right? There is the reptilian brain, which is instinctual and has the sole purpose from keeping you from danger, fight or flight. We have the second one, which is the limbic brain, which is emotional, feeling driver of many of our behaviors. And then we have the rational thinking logic, right? The number one thing that needs to happen before a stranger can respond to your DMs or even do business with you is that they need to feel like they can trust you, right? Most people are stuck sending like 100 million emails, DMs, cold calls, but they never build assets or leverage mechanism that make strangers trust them before they even respond, right? So look at these 2 situations and realize how big of a difference it makes having common ground, social context, trust versus not having it. So imagine in 2018, Serge calls your phone to try to sell you a mastermind. You'd be like, who the F are you, right? You wouldn't even open my message. You'd think I'm crazy, right? But in 2021, your best friend of 10 years learns about client acquisition, about your client acquisition issues, and sends you the link to our 1 hour and 40-minute VSL that I did. And Serge ends up messaging you to try to get you to sell the program, right? These two things, although the main thing that I'm doing is trying to sell you something, the actual intake of information is completely different, right? Why? Because you're not out here. You're not thinking that I'm just trying to sell you something and trying to steal money from you. You actually value me, and you're viewing this feedback or this thing that I'm trying to do from a rational thinking part of your brain, right? So the first thing when we're doing outreach is like, how can I get this guy or this girl to trust me as fast as possible? And how do we do that? We leverage a lot of content, right? So if you really want to get a lot of people to convert, just get them to trust you, right? And Yeah. So this is really important. Just getting people to stop feeling like you're just trying to kill them, right? Because in the message, that's essentially what people think. You know, some people are so like they're so defensive that they're not. You could literally be curing cancer, and people will still not want to speak with you. Why? Because they don't trust you. They don't. They're still in their, you know.
And in order for them to build that trust.
Exactly. So you need to like go crazy fast, right? Content, or just make a personalized video for them, right?
So I wanted to say, for me, I don't know about everyone else, but for me, I kind of clicked with Marcus when he mentioned about retiring his mum and his story. And I said, this is where I want to retire my mum. It's one of my goals.
Yeah.
So it's like, for someone who's done it already, it's like instantly, okay, you know that, okay, I need to get on a path where he's going or what he's done.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of helped me, and I think that that's similar to what you're basically
So
saying.
you need to create context, right? Social context, right? So, you know, there's an example of like, imagine you're going at night and you're going to your car, right? And then someone screams behind you and they're like, yo, right? You'll be like, what the fuck, right? You don't know what they're trying to do. You don't know if they're trying to fight you. You don't know if they're trying to steal your car, right? But, so like your first decision is to be, you know, protective, defensive, right? But what if the guy actually comes up and they're like, oh, you just dropped your keys? Then the two situations come from a different, you know, they're recorded differently in your brain, right? You're like, oh, thank you. Now imagine outreach is just like that. How can you get people to hey, did you just drop your keys? And get them to be like, to feel relaxed, to feel safe with you.
Start the conversation.
Right? Yeah.
So you said you do that, you make them trust you by video.
Yeah.
Are you going to dive deeper into
Yeah,
We'll talk all about
of course,
content.
yeah. So we leverage content and sales assets. So
Yeah, for me, the best content that always performs is basically results, case studies, also personal stuff. So whenever you post like a story or a video about where you started and where you are now, again, for context, like everything that Serge is going over right now, just for context, including a high ticket, this is not when you're going from 0 to 10K. Literally what helped Serge go from 10K to 100, right? So if you're now thinking like, yeah, all right, but I haven't quite had like a crazy story that I can make a YouTube video about. But this is obviously like Serge said, you know, when you're kind of already are familiar with the industry and you've been working for a while. But yeah, content-wise, it's always results and case studies that were the best.
yeah. So check this out. This was back in January 26th, right? I did probably almost, you know, just a few days before I hit my first 10K month. I made this video. It's a 9-minute video, right? So what I do is I just make a video. This is technically a video sales letter, but I'm actually educating the prospect, right? Because who's the best person to sell? Someone who has the same beliefs as you, someone who's educated, who understands the same things as you. So what I did is,
hi, thank you for watching this video. So in this video, what I want to share with you is one of our most effective approach when it comes to outreaching to e-commerce brands, okay? So my name is Serge. I run a prospecting agency that specializes in help setting appointments for fellow agency owners. And
so I just walk you through here, right?
To help me grow
and
my
if
brand.
you do have a good mechanism, you can make this video. This doesn't like it. You don't need. I had probably signed like 5-6 customers at this point, but I didn't have that crazy of good results or that. So I just sold the actual thing that we do, right? And then at the end, I just said.
Leads to the clients that we help with this approach. So yeah, that's really the value, the approach that I wanted to share with you. If you need help with any
if you need help, fucking let me know. Right? I got you, right? So and then that's how we so now it's pretty easy, right? Because now all you have to do is start a conversation. Hey, I have this new thing that you can leverage. Boom, you send it to them. It educates them. Call to action. Maybe if we do 50 a day, and let's say one person is interested, that's one meeting a day.
Is it an evergreen video?
Oh yeah, big evergreen. So now, I mean, I made this one, but I made another version for people who aren't in e-commerce, and the other one also has like 200 views too.
How many
Right?
is that one?
160. Yeah. So essentially, you just send them this, right? Because this is value, right? So people will automatically just feel like, oh wow, he just made this video for me. It's really good, right? So So yeah, and let me just walk you through. So I'll just go quickly over this. So one other thing that we also do is that we find angles, right? Inefficiencies. So when you're trying to get someone on a call, you're not trying to sell them on everything. You just need to find one single angle that they're currently not winning at. So never try to sell a book or a meeting with someone who doesn't have a problem to solve, a gap to bridge. So let's say if you're going after a brand, right, and you sell like paid ads, or you sell paid ads and funnels. What you have to understand is that don't try to sell paid ads and message and copy all together. You need to ask them, hey, how is the copy going? How is the landing page going? How is the traffic? How is the attribution? Are you guys able to track it, right? And then when you find, not everything will have an issue, but there will be one thing that they're not doing at their best. And all you have to do is just pick that one and literally educate them on it. So if you look at our breakdown conversation, is we find an inefficiency, okay? So we could ask people like, hey, how is your outreach performing? How many meetings are you booking a month? Or I could ask them, hey, how much are you charging for your services? Or hey, have you ever tried virtual assistants? Or hey, have you tried increasing the quality of your leads? Have you ever tried Instagram outreach? And which all these angles will lead me to us knowing something that they don't, or will lead my team to knowing something that they don't. And then once we figure that out, we have videos to actually send them. So if they're having an issue, if they don't know how to buy access to an audience, then I'll just send them this video. And this is a YouTube video, by the way. Most people think I'm creating content, but I'm just creating sales assets. Or I could just send them this one. It has like 1.7K views on YouTube. Or I could just show them how a virtual assistant scaled our offer to 20K per month. So I find an efficiency, I have an asset, I just place it with the right inefficiency. So that's where it becomes really good to create content, okay? And so this is literally it. I could just give you guys a quick flow chart of what it looks like. I'll just see.
So I wanted to ask a question.
Yeah.
It's about the pricing. So when do you, is it a mindset thing? Is it a thing of value when you kind of change the pricing from a low ticket to, let's say, like you mentioned, a $5,000 kind of high ticket service or so? Like, I'm trying to understand, because I feel like sometimes when I charge too much, it's like, well, it's not. It's like, is it a mindset thing? Is it a value thing? What is it?
I think it's a belief thing, right? So even for me, like, sometimes it's when you're charging, because you have to get over the fact of like, oh, this is a lot of money, right? So, and I was on a call with the guys at Traffic and Funnels, like Taylor Welch, and he's like, there is no explanation, just increase the price. You don't have to have 1,000 different reasons. Like, we have one life to live, right? So for me personally, I'm like, man, I'm selling you my time. So whether you want to pay it or don't want to pay it, I don't care. You decide what you want to do. But the truth is, value is like a perspective issue, right? So someone could buy this iPhone for 20 grand. Someone could buy it for 200 grand, for $200, right? What someone pays for something is actually not related to what this is, but it's actually related to how much this matters for me. But if you want to actually start increasing prices, like, you're going to have to fix your beliefs. You're going to have to realize that you deserve more. So for me, I felt like I deserved more, so I just increased it and figure out a way to just build our service to be able to align with that thing. But yeah, man, it's a question of view. It's a belief thing, right?
Also, another thing, just as like a practical thing that I learned, just fucking try it. Just ask. Because if you don't ask, you never get it. I remember one of our students we spoke to, and this is what helped him go from about 5K to about 15. He just said, look, how do I get out of this rut of just charging $500 or 300 pounds? Tom Russell, that's what I'm speaking about, by the way. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was just like, so I mean, what's the highest you've ever charged? He was like £800. Okay, what's the highest you've asked for? He was like £800. Okay, so £800 is the highest you've asked for, and that's what you've gotten. So why don't you try and ask for 1,500? He was like, oh, I can't do that. But have you tried it? No. Okay, try it. Right?
Yeah.
And then the market will tell you. The market will tell you.
Another thing too, I think that we don't realize, but when you're charging someone, right, you're not charging them based on what they told you. You're charging them on what you think it's worth, right? So for me, when I'm charging people, I don't come, because when I was starting up, like, you know, a year ago, I was charging like what, $750, $850 a month, or 1,000 most, right? But that was because at that time, I thought it was a good chunk of money, right? But right now, it's like, you know, if you ask me to charge someone that money, I'd rather not even charge you that, because you're just wasting my time, right? So it's like, stop viewing your service from your current situation, because if you're broke, then you're gonna think even $200 is a lot of money, right? Yeah. So you really gotta get out. You have to be like, oh, I'm not the person I'm selling to. I'm not where I should be. So any price will seem high. So instead, put yourself in the shoes of someone who's already wealthy, who's already got money. Then is $5,000 a lot? Not really.
Yeah. And I think the worry is sometimes that if I raise the price to, let's say, 5K, who would buy 5K? But there are people that would buy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Shit. Some people who lose 5K don't even notice it. Yeah. So you want to go after those people. Yeah. So that's really the goal. So like I showed you, so the flow chart is pretty simple. It's just like, so you just know where to find the leads. You need to figure out if they're qualified by just looking at their profile. You want to engage at scale. You can just go first with a non-personalized thing, like, hey, how are you? Or you can just go straight to like something a bit more direct. Hey, I see that you run an e-commerce fashion brand. By the way, how are you guys dealing with iOS 14 issues, right? And then just get them to respond, right? You can test if they get higher responses by just saying hey, or you can just give more qualifications, right? And then what you want to do is figure out a way to create trust in the first 2 or 3 messages, right? So you can go straight for the, hey, thank you for getting back to me. By the way, we specialize in helping people just like you at a specific outcome. Is it okay for me to ask you a few questions? Or you could just send a video, right? The goal with this step is to be upfront and share our intentions. Some will ignore us, but us when we do, but the ones who keep the conversation going will be amazing prospects, will have earned their trust, right? So you want to find inefficiencies, you want to figure out what are the angles that you solve with your service, and just pick one or pick a few angles, right? And then you just create a conversation based on it. And then if someone is dealing with a specific inefficiency, you have a specific video to send them, right? And then you just follow up with them, hey, what did you think of the video, right? And then if they show interest, all you have to do is just say, are you free for a 15-minute chat this week, where I can actually show you exactly how we go about implementing it, so you can implement it yourself. So now you educated them, you gave them value, they got, you know, inducing this reciprocity bias where they feel like they owe you something in return. So now getting on a call with you is not that big of an issue. And that's how you get people on a call and convert them. So this could be a discovery call, this could be a sales call. For us, it's a sales call. We don't really, like, you get on a call, we're selling you. But we're not necessarily saying that, right? So that's really it. And then send a booking link and always confirm it. Right. Okay, now that you have one problem, you have one high ticket offer, you have an audience to sell that to, you know how to go about outreaching, then I needed to figure out a way to scale myself, right? Because I'm not going to be doing all these things myself. So what I did was I built a growth team, right? End-to-end salespeople. So that means that they can find the leads, talk to them, convert them on a meeting, and close them, right? So they can do all that themselves, right? So what I did was I just built a hiring VSL. So let me see if it's here. So if you look at here, this is like a video that I made for when I was looking to hire people. So if you guys want to like hire people at scale, you could use something like this. Who am I? You need to give them a background. The journey is not easy. The timeline, compensation structure, it's here. So let's say if they get, I normally pay people like, or at least closers, 10% if the meetings is booked for them, 15%. I pay probably no less than 15% to be honest. But if they do end to end, so they find the lead and they convert them, then it's like 20%. And you guys, this is where the unit economics break if you don't have a high ticket offer, because nobody's gonna find the lead, convert them, and then close them for 10% of $1,000. It's not enough. It's not enough. So what you need to do is you need to get this price so high that when you get someone, even if you're not paying them a salary, right? They'll still be incentivized. They'll still feel excited to actually sell your product, right? So so that's what I did. Is just increase the price, make the economics make sense, and make sure that all the people who work with you are getting rich, and you getting richer. Right.
One more thing I'll add about the price, by the way. Alex Mosley said this. Talking about how, and then from his story, essentially when he started launching the kind of programs for gyms and helping them scale, the average competitor of his was charging about 2 to 5K, like 5K being the maximum, was the most expensive thing. He went in at 32 grand. Like his whole ticket was 32,000. Let alone, by the way, gyms, by the way, as well, they're not too profitable. So 32,000 is definitely a lot of money for a gym. But what Alex said was the fact that he had the price of his program was quite literally like 10, 20 times the price of his competition. His word spread, his name spread, and people were so curious. It's like, why the fuck is it so expensive? What's so different about it? And also in terms of context as well, if you're wondering how the hell did he start closing clients, essentially his offer is where he takes a small setup fee. He does the service, he provides them with the actual consulting and the coaching. Once they get the clients, they then pay him for the rest. But anyway, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we're talking about high ticket, and yeah, we all have a lot of competition, right? Especially everybody here just does Facebook ads. Number one, we're talking about how you can offer it differently, being more specific, like niche within a niche. But then second of all, if your price is literally like 4 times the average competition that reaches out to them every single day, they're going to be like, okay, what have you got? All right, I'll listen to you. It's something different. They're going to check out your VSL. They're going to do this. So just wanted to add that as well.
Yeah, just price, just price commands value. Like just literally, I think that the fact that our program is the price that it's at, like it just gets people like just probably wanting it, right? So it's like, some people will buy, 200K watches, not because the watch tells you fucking better time, but just because you just would like to claim that you have that watch, right? Because it brings status. So how can you guys make your service bring status to the game and get people buying it, not because they even want clients, but because they want to be part of this community. They want to be part of your thing, right? That's how big companies, Apple, Rolex, AP, Richard Mille, Porsches. That's how these guys make money. Because I think that you have to actually have a high ticket price before you can even build a good product. It's not build a good product and go sell it. Hell no, you're gonna go broke doing that, right? So it's like, just make a decision that you're going to be the biggest shark in your industry, and let the price do the talking. And then once you get that capital, you can actually afford to build a really good service. But yeah, nah. Because it's the same amount of energy. Do you know how much energy it takes to sell a $1,000 service? Probably, I mean, now it's a bit different, but like, we got people from India getting loans to join our program, right? And if it's like 7K or 10K that they're paying, for them it's probably like, it's like paying 100K, right? Because it's a lot of money. But how do you make sense of getting people from India spending this kind of money? You need something. You can't just, it's not just like, it's a lot. Sometimes I'm like, whoa, what the hell? I'm like, man, am I scamming these people? Because it's like it's, you need to get to a point where your brand commands attention, right? It's not just like, oh, I'll get you VAs. You know how many people sell VAs? Like a bunch of them, right? But we do it in a different way. We just have an experience, right? So people don't just get the messages, they don't get that. They get an experience when they become customers, and that's what you want to focus on, right? Now, content, guys. Oh my God, content is something that I haven't realized how important it is until like the past six months, I'd say, right? For me personally, when I'm home, when I'm locked in, I'll probably create almost 5 pieces of content every week, right? Why? Because I want people to spend time with me, right? I want people to know, to think, to like breathe just like I do. Because if they do think like me, then they will end up buying regardless, right? So a lot of people are like, oh, don't create content, you know, it will just, you're wasting time. But it's like, no, trust me. If guys like Sam Ovens, Alex Hormozy are creating content, why do you guys think they're doing it? Why would someone who's already making 85 million a year create content? They have better things to do, because content builds brand. And once you have a brand, you don't need anything else. People will just buy because, right? So for me, what I do is so I've built this thing. It wasn't necessarily meant for it being content, but like you want to make sure that you have a story about your journey, right? How did you decide to do the things that you're doing? How did you decide to sell to these people? What outcome did you talk about the fact that you're young, talk about your obstacles, talk about everything, talk about your dreams, okay? Because you want people to be able to relate to you more than just the fact that you do Facebook ad, more than the fact that you do email marketing. You want people to buy into your story. Why is Grant Cardone always talking about, my dad died when I was 10 years old, and then my mother had to sell the home that my dad worked for 52 years before getting? Why do I know the story of Grant Cardone? Who is he? Because if I buy into his story and it fits the hero story that I personally would like to live in, to like experience, then I'm automatically bought into him, right? So now I'm not just buying into him because he's an amazing real estate investor, but I'm also buying into him because of the story. So now you combine these two, then nobody can compete with you. Because I have other people who could try to sell you guys a program, but sometimes the decision is made with who do I relate to the most. That's it, right? So a lot of you guys will need to get to a point where you guys start sharing more of your story. Stop keeping it to yourself, okay? Because it could be the thing that gets you to become really rich, right? And then you don't need to. I mean, you could make a piece of content around who's your ideal client. But another thing you could do is describe the before state of most of your customers. So for me, I'll like sit down and talk about, hey, where do most of our customers sit at before they start working with us? So I'll describe all the pain points that they're dealing with, right? And just put it online. And then I'll go after that. I'll go and describe the after state. Hey, once they've gone through our product, what happens? Because you want to be able to get them to understand your whole service before they get on a sales call, guys. You don't want someone getting on a call and be like, oh, by the way, what's your name? Or what exactly do you do? Because selling, you're not there to start selling. You need to sell before they actually get on the call, right? So content does all the work, and you can talk about your piece of content, about your competitive edge. You can talk about every single problem that you solve, right? So for us, we have multiple problems that we solve. So what I like to do is I like to break them down. I like to describe the problem, I like to describe how we solve it, and I like to describe the benefits of solving that problem, right? And we have a lot of problems that we solve. So now, when someone is trying to buy from us, or what ends up happening is people go in and say like, oh, I sell Facebook ad. But the truth is, no, I don't want Facebook ad, but I'd love someone to help me with attribution. So now, if I have so many pieces of content around multiple problems, it just makes it easier for me to make sure that someone, maybe they might not buy because of the outreach, but they might buy because they want to learn how to charge high ticket, right? So just having a bunch of content online that just sells them is really good, right? And yeah, so every video that I create is literally about selling people and what we do on the back end. I want to literally like give away everything. So when they get on a call with my sales guy, they're ready to buy, right? So that's more of an experience. And then build a back-end team. So for our roles, what we do is, I'll just show you guys how I built the checklist for the people that I'm hiring. So I always do something like this. And before, when I was hiring people, I didn't have a certain framework around doing it, but now I do this. So let's say I need a sales rep, right? The first thing that you need to be sure is you need to make sure that they have a mission. So a sales rep could be add an extra $500,000 in annual revenue for client acquisition in the next 12 months by closing new accounts and generating more attention to our offer. This needs to be clear for the person you're hiring. If it's a VA, then add more leads in the pipeline, right? A specific amount, right? And then once they know their mission, now what are the things that if they happen, they make it unreasonable for the mission not to get accomplished? So yes, you set a goal for this person, but now you also have to give them a set of outcomes that if these set of outcomes are achieved, then that mission gets accomplished. So for me, it's like if he closes 50 grand in revenue per month, then that 12-month goal will get accomplished. But in order to close this, then you need to close 6 new customers every month, right? And then you also need to generate a minimum of 10 meetings per week with qualified prospects, right? So, and that could be hunt for new leads on social platforms, follow up with past leads, leverage video sales letters to warm up our pipeline, right? And improve our sales process. So if you see that a lot of people are coming in and they're not showing up for calls, then share that with me so we can improve the sales process, right? But we know that if he's closing 6 new customers a month, we know that if he's generating 10 meetings per week with new qualified prospects, and if he's improving the sales process, then eventually all these things lead back to this outcome being accomplished, right? And this literally is for every role. So you can have competencies and requirements if they have that. For my appointment setter, right? So someone who manages my role, my Facebook, then I'll give them a goal too. I want them to add $500,000 every month in opportunities. So if our average ticket price is 8 grand, then 500K divided by 8K, it's somewhere around what, like 40 something? I don't know. It's probably like 60 or I don't know. But I need them to generate 500K of value in new leads and generate 25 to 40 meetings per week from Serge's profile, right? And how does this happen? Well, start 30 to 50 new conversations on my profile every single day, generate 5 to 10 quality conversations per day, find inefficiencies, educate them, leveraging sales assets, and get them on a call. And then follow-up needs to happen, 60 to 100 past leads. Grow the profile to 5,000 friends, because I need to grow my audience. Provide value in 5+ groups every single day. Get people to pay attention to our expertise and add quality leads from these audiences, right? Grow the agency growth blueprint group and leverage it to book meetings. So how does that happen? Invite prospects to the group daily, start conversation. When people join, find inefficiencies, book them, right? So if they do generate 25 to 40 meetings per week, if they start conversations every single day, and they start 5 to 10 quality conversation, it's unreasonable for us not to have 500K in pipeline value every single month. Okay, check this out. So I'll just give you real quick the schedule, right, that I give my growth team, right? So daily workflow and how to put the system at work. This is more for Facebook, but it could be applied to anything. So after drinking your morning coffee, generate attention, okay? Every day you should find a way to generate attention. You don't have to use all the different methods, just pick 1 or 2 per day. Every morning you should spend at least 20 minutes scrolling through the communities that you're part of, finding questions and prospects who are in pain. Provide value in the comments, okay? After providing value, you should ask a Trojan horse question in the community. So what I mean by Trojan horse question is that, I mean, you guys know the Trojan thing, like just hide your intentions. But for us, for me, if I'm trying to sell my service and I'm like trying to find qualified leads, I'll go in a community and I'll ask them, hey, by the way, who here who here is leveraging email to book meetings? That, if you look at it, I'm not looking to find out who uses emails because I don't really care. All I'm trying to find out is someone who's doing some dumb shit, right? Not really dumb. Email works pretty fine, but I want to find people who are doing something that isn't as good as what we do. If they call out, if they raise their hand, I start a conversation with them, I educate them, And if they end up being warm, qualified, they'll buy. If not, cool. We'll just keep warming them up until they die. No, not die. Until they buy. Okay. So like you just need to do it at scale, and then follow up is so crucial. Like every single day, I'll do 30 to 60 prospects who have ignored my messages. This one is crucial. I put this as a second step, since I know 80% of all prospects won't actually respond to your messages or even book calls, right? So that's most everyone that you really speak with, so you better pay attention to them. So you start with people who you've already sent the link to book a call, because some of them won't even book the call. You then follow up with people who you've started a conversation with, but that have not yet led to them receiving a booking link. And then lastly, those who haven't responded to your first message. Okay? And then you want to find new people. So the next step is find new and add 25 to new prospects to your profile. So every single day on Facebook, or Instagram, you should be adding 25 to 40 new prospects to your friend list. Why is this so crucial? Because eventually, if you have 4,000 people as friends on Facebook, then you just have to put a message there, and eventually people you grow a network essentially of people who can buy your thing, right? So you're not just relying too much on outreach. You actually have an audience, right? And then start conversations, just the same way. Engage at scale, educate them, book them on a call, and convert. Offer a value, call to 15 people per day, and get 50% of them to book a call. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward stuff, right? So, yeah, this is literally it. For me, if I was starting out, I would do outreach first thing in the morning, right? The first 2 hours of the day where I wouldn't even open my phone. I wouldn't I'm not sure about you guys, but if you guys, the first thing that you guys do is wake up and go check your phone and just go watch what the world is about, then you're gonna be a sad man or a sad woman, because the world is just trying to the issue with social media is that you're into other people's worlds, right? But when you're so lost into other people's worlds, you don't have any more energy left to actually go and actually build your own empire. So for me, now I've really stopped this because I'm traveling and I'm off my routine. But first thing that I do every single morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., I'm not taking any calls. I'm not talking to anyone. I don't want anybody's negativity getting into my state, right? So what I do is I block out everything, and I'll just go on Facebook, add people, generate attention, post a lot of value in the groups, and then start new conversation and then follow up with people. You do that consistently. It's not about generating a meeting the next day or the same day. It's about just doing it first thing in the morning when you're really fresh and you haven't really had any negativity just pop into your environment. So it's so crucial. If you want to get great at something, do it first thing in the morning. And if it means waking up at 5, then wake up at 5. Get your dreams. Get after everything you want. Hey, I hope you enjoyed some of the stuff that I covered within the mastermind session, okay? If there's one thing that stood out the most for you, I'd love if you can actually drop a comment and share what that thing was, okay? Because one thing that I've realized is that some insights hit differently for different people and depending on where they are in their journey, okay? And I just wanted to remind you that we have one giveaway going right now, okay? You can have the chance to become a customer of clientacquisition.io for free. All you have to do is go on my Instagram, leave a comment below, follow the clientacquisition.io Instagram page, okay? But if you're interested in just learning how to scale your online service business, learning how we can, launch new outbound channels for you, grow a growth team for you, okay? Train your outbound team and, start getting you 50 meetings every single week. Then you can also find a link to book a call with my growth team, okay? And we'd be happy to help you scale, okay? But thank you so much. If you're watched till the end, then that means that you really care about this stuff. So I wish you good luck on your journey, and maybe one day we'll get to connect, okay? Bye-bye.